welcome to Elitesgrid.
Thank you so much.
Please tell us about your profile.
Yeah. So I am an engineer. I graduated in 2018. After that, I started working at a company in Mumbai. My role was that of a procurement analyst. I worked there till 2021. After completing 3 years, I resigned from my post and I started preparing for entrance exams dedicatedly. I am from general category. So for 10th, I had scored 92.6%, and for 12th, I had scored 80%. And in engineering, my aggregate percentage over 8 semesters was 71%. So this is my background.
And talking about last year, what are the exams that you gave and what are the colleges that you converted?
Yeah, so I have appeared for all management exams except for, I think, TIS and GMAT. TIS because I was not particularly inclined towards HR, so I didn't appear for it. And GMAT because I was not actually looking forward to going abroad. So I appeared for all the other exams: SNAP, NMAT, IIFT, XAT, CAT, and CET as well.
And what has been your respective scores in all these exams?
Yeah, so in NMAT I had scored 244 a total. In SNAP my score was 37.25, and I think that came to around 98.97 or so, roughly 99 percentile. Based on that, I got calls from both the college for interview, and in XAT my percentile was around 82%. CAT, the overall was 94%, but my LRDI score was not very good, so I could not qualify for a lot of the baby IIMs. Then apart from that, we have, I think, yeah, these are all the scores. IIFT, my percentile was 93%, and the score 93 marks. So.
And what are the colleges that you have currently?
Yeah, so I have converted Great Lakes Chennai, SIBM Pune, SCM HRD Pune, MBA in NMIMS, MBA core, and MBA IB in IIFT Delhi.
Okay. So talking about your CAT journey, when did you decide that you wanted to pursue MBA?
So I was very clear about that since a long time. This was my third attempt. I have appeared in 2020, 21, and 22, 3 years. So the first year around, I had just appeared to get an idea of what kind of exams there are out there. Second year, I prepared a little, but my efforts were still limited because I was doing a full-time job at that point. And once the lockdowns were lifted up, we had to go to office every day. So which is why I decided to quit in September of 2021 and dedicatedly prepare the next year so that I could give my best to all the exams that come my way. And in 22, I appeared again. And since then, at first, I was looking forward to giving CET, which was really delayed. At first, it was meant to be on June 2022, which they pushed it forward to September. And I had 3 months where I didn't know what to do because I was really looking forward to CET. And I thought I wanted to utilize my time properly. So I had heard of Elitesgrid through a friend, and I joined the classes, the last batch, which is the third batch starting on June. And after that, I started attending the classes, and I thought that this is, my focus shifted. I really wanted to give my best in the next attempt. I was not hooked to CET. I was not waiting for that to happen. In fact, when CET came around, I was so deep into the preparation, the way Hani sir was teaching, Gaurav sir was teaching, that I completely forgot that I was actually aiming for CET. I did appear for it anyway, but that is when when I appeared for it, I scored really well and I was not prepared. So that gave me such a good feeling that I've made a good decision by joining EG, because even at an unprepared level, and of course, it is coupled with my efforts 2 years prior also that I've been giving the exams, but it gave me a good feeling about EG that I've made the right decision by joining it, because if at an unprepared state, I'm faring so well in this exam, then I will definitely do well in any exams that come in the future.
So that you join the final batch, the third batch, it starts around July or so. So after that,
June.
June. So I was asking, since your batch started in June, what was your preparation strategy like in the coming few months? After it started in June, what were your strategy like in the preceding months?
So I didn't actually have any strategy because I was joining with a very blank head. I didn't know that I was going to, I knew I had to appear for the exams again, but I didn't have any strategy in mind. I basically followed everything Hani sir and Gaurav sir and Shahzad sir had told us. That is more than enough, to be very frank. All the assignments they give, all the homework questions that they give, the way they discuss them in the classes, that was whatever they said was my strategy. But I'll tell you one thing, because I have appeared twice, I knew this much, that personally, my aptitude was more suited to non-CAT exams, which are speed-based tests like NMAT, SNAP, CET. I'm able to solve very fast. So that was my strength. So that was the only thing I kept in mind while appearing for exam, is that I wanted to focus on exams that were my strength. CAT, XAT, while I was appearing for it, I knew they were not my strong areas. So I did prepare for it, because in the end, it's all one umbrella. You prepare for one exam, you prepare for it. But the formats are very different when you start giving exams. So I focused on that. I focused on NMAT and SNAP, and everything else I was doing it, but that was my only strategy. And I'm not saying it's a good strategy. It was just what felt right at that point.
Yeah. So now that you have shifted your focus to the OMETs, what kind of strategy did you pick for NMAT? For say SNAP, and what kind of test series did you take?
Yeah. So for NMAT and SNAP, mostly I had taken EG test series itself. I think it was hardly, there were 15-20 tests in each series. And if I required any extra, I took from other classes. There's a lot of material available online for that. So, and strategy, I think mostly it was once, I think June to August, once your base is fixed after you attend classes, once you know all the concepts well enough, you will it's best to start giving mocks, because these are speed-based tests. Your accuracy is going to falter. So the more tests you give, the more confidence you get, the more chances of you not doing silly mistakes in the actual exam. So keep giving tests is the only strategy I used. And obviously analyze the tests really well, because, and I would make a note of all the questions. For instance, probability was an area that was a bit that used to scare me a little. So what I would do is, every question that I came across in the mock test, which I couldn't solve or whose approach I didn't have in mind, I would just jot it down in a notebook. And then before every exam, I would go through all those collection of sums, which to me doesn't come naturally, the solution. I have to work, I have to think. So, that was one way of doing it. And for verbal, vocab is very helpful, because all these speed-based exams, they put a lot of questions, synonyms, antonyms, prepositions, and they are basically free marks, because it takes 5 seconds to solve them. If you know it, you know it. So that definitely, I had seen this video where someone suggested, I think it was dictionary.com. There's a website called dictionary.com, where if you create an account and you keep searching the word meanings like you would on a normal dictionary, it creates placards for you. So you can give tests. Basically, you can, if you say 50 words based on how you have studied in the last 1 or 2 months, then those 50 words you can keep revising like placards. So those are very helpful in preparation. So mainly for non-CAT exams, I would say the mocks are very helpful.
So, since you have been shifting your focus to all the mocks and OMETs, what about the sectional tests and the topic tests, which we received from EG? How helpful were they in your preparation?
They were very helpful, because they were the foundation step. Once they teach you in classes, they'll give you homeworks, they'll give you assignments that if you do it diligently and if you attend discussions, you will have a very good base. But after that, how they progressively make you take tests is really good, because after that they would ask you to take topic tests. So for instance, quadratic equations, polynomials, everything. And then they ask you to move to sectional. Okay, take one quants test, take one verbal test. So those are good, because it gives you individually how to approach each section. The more you take those topic tests, and then you slowly build the concentration to actually sit through a 2-3 hour exam, because that at home is very difficult to do with all the distractions in the surrounding. But giving those tests definitely helped, because it helped build discipline and it helped strategize how to go about every section.
Okay. And talking about CAT, how did you prepare for that? And did you focus on mocks and analysis for CAT as well? And was there any different strategy that you picked for CAT?
So for CAT, I had taken only the mocks that EG is very thorough about that. They give you a schedule. Once your 2-3 months of say curriculum is complete, they'll give you a proper schedule on which mock to give on which day and when it will be discussed. They will give you enough time to analyze it at your end, and then they will release discussion videos or have live discussions of those mocks. So those were very helpful. And I'm sorry, what was the second question?
What kind of strategy did you pick for CAT?
So for CAT, I was basically following whatever EG was telling. Strategy, as in, I would see there isn't a lot of strategy you can use in that because the section order is fixed. Everything is fixed. You don't have a lot of fluidity over there. So you just have to have the mental resistance that, okay, this is the order of sections given to me. I have to solve it anyway. Even if my some section is my strength or weakness, it doesn't matter. And I think the tough part about CAT is because it has negative marking, you have to be selective with your attempts. So that comes with practice. You have to give enough mocks to understand if if you're taking a risk with an answer, is it a good risk or are you going to lose marks? So that number of attempts, getting that right is very important, and that Honey sir will guide very perfectly.
And moving forward from CAT, you have given IIFT and XAT as well. And the pattern is different. You have to do DM, you have to do GK. So how did you prepare for that?
So IIFT this year was at a very tricky point. It was between two snap attempts, and on the day of IIFT there was another snap attempt. So basically we got only 10 days to prepare for IIFT. But Honey sir was very confident. He said that no, those 10 days are sufficient. In those 10 to 12 days, they made us give every IIFT past previous year's papers. So for IIFT, the key is you solve the previous year's papers because they do change the format a little every 1 or 2 years. And it is best to know what to expect in case they are going to make any changes. So they made us solve all the papers, discuss all the papers, and GK was wonderful. I was really not expecting that GK can be taught like this, but Honey sir would have these very long sessions, and I remember a bunch of those questions and things that he made us memorize in those sessions did come in the paper. So for IIFT, solve previous year's paper, and if you're preparing now, I would always recommend that keep a track of current affairs and over the last 1 year's GK. That will really help. Rest Honey sir will take care of. And XAT, I was XAT is the last exam that comes, and your stamina is really low at that point. So, but you have to keep going for it. Honey sir doesn't give up. He keeps pushing us even after every exam because, if you're giving 5 to 6 exams, some exam will go bad. And it really takes a hit on your confidence. But then Honey sir always pushes everyone forward. Gaurav sir, everybody is so motivating that they don't let us give up. So as long as you have the drive, you'll make it through.
Right. And after this, how did you prepare for your interviews? Like interview preparation, was there anything particular that you stuck to?
So for interview preparations, because I had appeared for 2 years before as well, I thought that I was good to go. I thought I was doing everything right. And because I had a work experience of 3 years, I did have a lot of interactions with people. So I was comfortable talking to people like that. But I joined the EG interview package anyway because I wanted to give my best this year. And they had connected me to a few of their past students who are in industry right now, who are in colleges right now, and that was so helpful. I had never thought, because before the 2 years that I was giving interviews, I was basically winging it. Like I had some points in my mind, but I was like, the minute the question comes, I'll say whatever comes to my mind. But when I spoke with these people, they guided me on how, you have just 10 minutes to make your mark. Make sure that every word and sentence you say is relevant and adds to your profile. Don't blabber, don't go without a structure. So even the questions like, tell me about yourself, they gave us very nice structure. Okay, start with this, then go on to this. Don't make it more than 2 minutes. And that really helped because you get 2 minutes and you need to make sure everything you know and everything that is good on your profile is said out there. So that was very helpful. I will always recommend anybody who feels they're confident as well about interviews and all of that, still go for the EG interview series. It will really help you a lot.
Mhm. And now we'd like to know about your interview journey. The interviews that you faced, how was your actual experience? What kind of questions did they ask you? Was there any curveball, thrown at you, and how did you face that?
So interview experience mostly was smooth. They are mostly rooting for you. They want you to do well. They will only throw curveballs to test your confidence and to test how much you know about talking about. So most of my interview experiences were good, and they revolved a lot around my work experience. And the rest of them were all those typical questions. Tell me about yourself, where you see yourself from 5 years, why this field, or why did you choose to do an MBA? And you have to know your profile very well. Any potential questions that could come, any irregularity in your profile, you need to be ready with the answer. Don't be caught off guard when they ask. For instance, I am a computer engineer and I have worked in procurement for 3 years. So I know that that question is going to come every time. Why did you switch from IT to EPC industry? So I am prepared for that question. And then similar questions, you need to be very thorough with your profile and you'll be good to go. And curveballs, I can't remember right now, but they definitely do. They asked me questions that were a little complicated pertaining to my field of work, but I could explain most of them. And whichever I couldn't, I would just honestly just smile and say, I'm sorry, I cannot answer this question right now. And they would be fine with it.
So after these interviews, you've converted so many colleges, you've given all these exams, you have realized what your strengths are, the OMETs you focus on. But if you would like to give any advice to the upcoming aspirants, what would it be?
Keep working, know your goals, know what your dream colleges are, and work diligently towards that. Don't go blindly into the process. Give all exams, give your 100% to every exam. Even if you feel like you don't want to go to a certain college, still give that exam and give your 100%, because it boosts your confidence. Hani sir always says that, convert kar lo, fir mana kar do. And it really helps because the whole process is unpredictable and you may really work hard for one thing and it may not work out. So it's always good to have options. So be sure that you are giving all exams and giving your 100% to them, but strategize it according to your priority and your abilities. If you're good at a certain exam, then give it more preference, provided you want to go to that college. And overall, I would just say invest in yourself, invest time, money, efforts in yourself. It will come back to you in manifolds. Will always help you. And please listen to Sani sir and everybody. Whatever they will tell you is what is going to get you through. They are going to give you the right instructions to get everything done. And I would like to thank EG for all the support.
Thank you so much, Anushka, for sharing your journey, sharing all your insights. We are so thankful that you took out your time, and we wish you all the very best in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Team EG, the faculty and the non-faculty members. They have always made everything very smooth to us. They would reach out to us every time something was required of us. And I remember I would just send voice notes to Gaurav sir if I had some problem in filling a form, somewhere I'm facing a glitch, and he would revert within the same day, making sure that nobody is left behind, that nobody is facing any issue. So EG was a wonderful journey for me, and I will always recommend it to everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Take care.